In 338 BC, outside the city of ShangYang in the Qin state, a horrifying execution was taking place. A man who once commanded the winds and the rain was being torn to pieces by 5 fierce horses, dragging his limbs and head alive. He was ShangYang, a highly controversial reformer. Some say he was a great reformer who advanced the course of history, while others call him a ghost in the river of history, a demon who mistakenly wandered into the world. And the culmination of ShangYang's ideas, the Book of Lord Shang, is regarded as the most forbidden book in the world. So, what evil secrets does this book hide? Let's investigate. First, let's introduce ShangYang himself. He was born in 390 BC during the Warring States period and was originally a descendant of the nobility of the state of Wei, with noble blood, but by his generation, his family had fallen into decline. In his youth, he was well read, particularly in the teachings of legalism, and firmly believed that the way of law could save the world. At nearly 30 years old, ShangYang seized an opportunity and moved to the state of Wei, becoming a guest of the prime minister, Shangjunshu. Shangjunshu, with his sharp eye for talent, quickly recognized this young man's abilities and courage. He strongly recommended him to King Wei Hui, saying, "If I am no longer around, this young man can take my place and assist the king in achieving great things." However, King Wei Hui had doubts. How could a young outsider take on such an important responsibility? He responded perfunctorily to Shangjunshu and took no further action. Shangjunshu understood that King Wei Hui's hesitation might cause the state of Wei to miss out on a talented individual. In his final moments, he once again warned King Wei Hui in a low voice, "If the king does not use him, he must not be allowed to serve in another country, or it will bring disaster to Wei." King Wei Hui nodded and gave a surface agreement, but he did not take it seriously in his heart. Soon after, Shangjunshu passed away, and ShangYang realized that Wei would not provide him with a platform to fulfill his ambitions. He turned his attention to the state of Qin in the west. At this time, the state of Qin was remote, economically backward, and culturally crude, regarded as a barbarian land by the central states. However, precisely because of its backwardness, the new ruler of Qin, King Shao of Qin, had a strong desire for change. After ascending the throne, he issued a recruitment order, hoping to attract ambitious individuals to govern the state. Upon hearing this, ShangYang immediately set off for Qin. In order to realize his ambitions, he visited King Shao of Qin 4 times, presenting his ideas for governing the state. The first time they met, he began by talking about the 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors. King Shao of Qin nearly fell asleep, so he sent ShangYang away. In the second meeting, ShangYang discussed the Confucian principles of benevolence and righteousness, but King Shao of Qin was still half asleep. After these 2 failed attempts, ShangYang realized that King Shao of Qin was not interested in theories that would take too long to show results. What he wanted was a set of quick and effective strategies to strengthen the country. So, during the third meeting, ShangYang directly proposed specific policies involving harsh laws and severe punishment. King Shao was finally moved and began to inquire about the details, and ShangYang's reform proposals were thus formed. After ShangYang's reforms, the state of Qin quickly rose, and its military strength far surpassed that of the other feudal states. Though this reform made Qin incredibly strong in a short period of time, it also marked the beginning of a nightmare for the Chinese people. The Book of Lord Shang, as the embodiment of this reformist thought, was also a forbidden book that the people were not allowed to read, because its philosophy of enslaving the masses played a significant role in maintaining feudal rule. The emperors of various dynasties in China greatly admired the Book of Lord Shang, as its governing principles were seen as cruel and malicious. Among them, the 5 techniques of controlling the people precisely manipulated the minds and bodies of the masses, turning them into complete tools of rule. The so-called 5 techniques of controlling the people include fooling the people, weakening the people, tiring the people, humiliating the people, and impoverishing the people. Now, let's go into detail about these 5 techniques of controlling the people. First is fooling the people. The Book of Lord Shang believed that to control the people, their minds must be thoroughly enslaved. To achieve this, ShangYang advocated depriving the people of their ability to think independently, forcing them to accept only one form of education and one kind of ideology. In Qin, the people were prohibited from discussing state affairs. Rituals, music, poetry, and books were regarded as dangerous seeds of thought and were outright banned. Without diverse intellectual nourishment, the people's independent consciousness gradually withered, turning them into mere tools who could only act according to commands. This policy of fooling the people led to the exhaustion of their talents and potential, and the entire nation lost its vitality and creativity, while only consolidating the ruler's power. Next is weakening the people. ShangYang clearly viewed the state and the people as adversaries, believing that only by weakening the people's power could the state maintain long-term stability. To achieve this goal, ShangYang strongly implemented harsh laws and a military system. Through war, the people's sense of security was taken away, the threat of powerful enemies was exaggerated, and people lived in fear and insecurity, only able to rely on the monarch for protection. In this way, any forces attempting to be independent or rebellious were eliminated. The third strategy of ShangYang's reforms was tiring the people, exhausting their physical strength and energy to the limit. The exhausted people had no energy to consider rebellion. He used heavy labor service and harsh taxes to make the people toil day and night just to survive, reducing their lives to the most basic level of existence. In such a high-pressure environment, the people had neither the time nor the ability to question the authority of the rulers, and the entire society was filled with a suffocating sense of fatigue and helplessness. Even more terrifying was humiliating the people. ShangYang advocated for the use of the harshest punishments and collective responsibility, forcing the people to monitor one another. If anyone violated the law, they had to report it, and could receive a heavy reward. Under this terrifying system, society was filled with an atmosphere of mutual denunciation and suspicion, where trust between family members and neighbors broke down, and everyone became an object of state surveillance. In order to protect themselves, the people could only maintain absolute obedience to the authorities. This psychological humiliation completely destroyed the people's dignity and spirit, making them timid and servile. Finally, the technique of impoverishing the people. ShangYang implemented harsh taxes and levies, forcing the people to struggle on the lowest level of survival, never quite full, but not starving to death, only surviving on the grace dispensed by the power. The rulers played the role of saviors in the people's miserable lives, and even a small token of charity was enough to make the people grateful, thus creating a dependence on power. This economic constraint left the people powerless to resist and unable to escape the control of the rulers. ShangYang's 5 techniques of controlling the people caused the state of Qin to rise rapidly, but it also brought about huge side effects. After Qin unified the 6 states, it fell within just 15 years. The most ironic part was that ShangYang himself ultimately died under the very laws he had created. After the death of King Shao of Qin, ShangYang lost his most powerful support. His reforms threatened the interests of many noblemen, and his harsh enforcement methods made him too many enemies. After King Huiwen of Qin ascended the throne, the old nobility took the opportunity to sow discord with him and had ShangYang arrested on charges of treason. When ShangYang received the news, he immediately fled. He found an inn and tried to check in, but the innkeeper didn't recognize him and said, "You need to present an official certificate from the government to stay here." ShangYang asked why he needed proof. The innkeeper replied, "ShangYang issued the decree, but common people cannot wander without official permission from the government." ShangYang sighed deeply, not expecting that the laws he himself had created would bring harm to him. He continued to flee, trying to escape to the state of Wei for refuge. However, the state of Wei refused to take him in. In desperation, he returned to his fief, Shangdi, where he was ultimately captured. After ShangYang was captured, his tragic end mirrored the scene at the beginning of this story. After his death, the laws he had implemented were not abolished. They continued to influence the state of Qin, and even into modern times, the government still uses similar ideologies to control the Chinese people, causing immense suffering to countless individuals.